the NFL schedule released, and we looked at what the Seahawks have, and now I give you my prediction based on that schedule. Could the Seahawks possibly go 18-0? Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show, where we love Seattle pro sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we are giving a way too early record prediction based on the schedule. And I did a little bit of a tease there, asking if it was possible for the Seahawks to go 18-0, because it's not. But I got a great comment from the last video when I asked people to let me know what they thought. And this one came from Aaron Rude, okay? And his response was 18 ... and ... oh. Well, hate to burst your bubble, Aaron. There's only 17 games in a regular season, so it's not going to be possible for the Seattle Seahawks to go 18-0. I mean, they'd have to win all 17 regular season games, win a single playoff game, and then decide, okay, well, we're just done there. We're not gonna play out the rest of the season. We're just 18-0. But no, that was great. I love the enthusiasm, though. I love that you look at that and say, hey, our team's going to go undefeated. Because that's what this show is really all about, right? Is being a fan. Because there's a ton of shows that you could go listen to where, they're breaking down every play, every, aspect of the scheme. And, again, I started this show however long ago I started this show now, because I just wanted more people to talk sports with, and specifically Seattle sports with, because that's what I'm most interested in. I'm interested in my hometown winning the sports games. So you listen to this show. I'll tell you when I'm talking about a sport that I'm not an expert in, and even when I'm talking about a sport that I feel like I know a lot about, I'm not here to tell you that I know more than you, and that if you have an opinion or a thought or something that you don't know anything about what you're talking about because it's different from mine. I love to hear all the ideas, and I definitely love to hear and see enthusiasm about those ideas, like Aaron had here with his 18-0 record prediction. That's not even quite possible, but again, I just love the enthusiasm with the fandom behind it. I love it. So I'd love to see more of that. But today I'm here to give you my prediction based on the actual schedule that we have. So you know what? Let me go ahead and pull up the actual schedule for us. That way we can all look at it together without. If you're watching on YouTube, you won't see the graphics that I have in the way, as I was making a joke. Oops. There. Okay. So, for me, we open up the season at home against the Denver Broncos, who, again, this team has just been totally decimated because of, that Russell Wilson contract and that trade, right? They traded so much draft capital over a number of years. They're dealing with salary cap issues now. That defense that made them think that they were just a quarterback away because of the contracts. They had big contracts, and then they brought in the big contract of Russell Wilson, who they now cut, and they're dealing with all that dead cap space. That defense is totally decimated. There's like nobody left from that defense that they thought just needed a quarterback behind it to help them get to a Super Bowl. And now they're bringing in a rookie quarterback. They're bringing in a rookie wide receiver who are not going to have a lot of help around them. So, boom. There's a win right there. Opening up the season with a win at home against Denver. You love to see it. Now, week 2. Now, again, we're going against New England Patriots. We don't know. Maybe Drake May wins the job. Maybe not. Maybe they still want to play it slow with him. And in that case, you're going up against Jacoby Brissett, who, again, the Patriots couldn't help it, right? They needed a quarterback, so they had to get Drake May. But because they were so desperate for a quarterback, they had to use that high draft pick on that, right? And not address all the other needs they have. And it's a lot. So this team's still not going to be good. So I think we get a win on the road against the New England Patriots in week 2. Now, here we go. At home, September 22nd against the Miami Dolphins. Can we pick up a win here? Mike McDonald versus Mike McDaniel. Both young, innovative coaches. One a defensive coach, one an offensive coach. And as much as I want to be as enthusiastic as Aaron with the 18-0 prediction that he gave, I cannot do that here. I think the Dolphins, they're slightly more talented, and Mike McDaniel has been a head coach for a number of years now in the NFL, so he's got more experience. So I'm going to give the edge to the Dolphins in this one, and I'll say the Dolphins beat us at home in week 3. Now here we go. Week 4, Monday Night Football on the road against the Detroit Lions, a team we have won 4 games in a row against. I believe that is the record. Can we pick up a win on the road? And here, I'll say no. It just, again, another one that I really want to say we could win, and we've proven that we can beat them. But I feel like we got them. We were lucky to get them last year when we did. They weren't quite clicking on all cylinders yet. Once they finally got Jahmyr Gibbs going, this team looked real dangerous. So I'm going to say, because they have that experience now of all playing together, they're going to start out this season strong right from the get-go. And the Lions, it's their home turf. They beat us, and we end up being 2-2 at that point. Now, week 5 at home against the New York Giants, possibly Drew Lock starting. Again, not in my eyes, not a great roster in general anyways. And then you're talking about having Daniel Jones or Drew Lock starting. Okay, boom, it's a win. It's not hard for me to pick that one. So there you go. That gets us up to 3 wins now. 5 weeks into the season, 3-2. Now, Thursday Night Football, just a short rest later. We're at home against San Francisco. Again, Mike McDonald, young coach, innovative. We saw what he did against the 49ers with the Ravens defense last year. Can he do it again? I say yes. On our home field, I say yes, he can. So, boom, we pick up a win at home on Thursday Night Football against our division rival. You love to see it. At that point, that gets us to 4-2 now. Right now, week 7, Atlanta Falcons. This one could be tough. They actually have a good quarterback now, and they've had weapons on that Falcons team for a while. They are also getting a new coach, so let's see what they can do. Again, for me though, I don't know. They They went out and got Michael Penix with their first overall pick. Did they really do enough to help the rest of the team? What were they? They clearly had big needs to help out that roster, and they waited on those. So I say the Seahawks, they already have a good roster. They went out and improved their roster through the draft, and that's going to be enough to stop the Falcons. Boom, we get another win on the road. Now we're looking at 5-2. Now at home, our next game against the Buffalo Bills. Can we pick this win up at home? It's Josh Allen. But, he's not, he's not the best at protecting the football, right? He throws interceptions. He is dangerous with those legs, but we have a lot of fast athletes on our defense. Can he really break away and make damage with his legs? And not to mention the fact he lost his receivers. He at this point in the season, yeah, it's 8 weeks into the season. Maybe they've gotten their chemistry down. Maybe not. Plus some of the receivers that are picking up, they don't have the best hands in the world. And we got some great defensive backs. I say we win this game. We beat the Buffalo Bills at home. And now we're looking at, what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 games, 6 wins in the first 8 seasons. This is going well. Then, week 9 against the Los Angeles Rams at home. The Sean McVay of defense against the actual Sean McVay. They lose Aaron Donald to retirement. I will say, though, the Rams, I think they did a pretty good job of drafting. So we'll find out how big of a difference it is without Aaron Donald. I just don't think it's going to be that big of a difference. I think the Rams, I think they still are going to give the Seahawks a hard time, even at home. I'm going to give this one to the Rams. It's, again, the first matchup. The Sean McVay of defense, Mike McDonald, going up against the actual Sean McVay. And we're giving it the edge to Sean McVay, again, because he actually has multiple years of experience as a head coach in the NFL. So some of these I'm going to just chalk up to hey, Mike McDonald, he's going to get outcoached sometimes by some of these really other innovative offensive coaches who've been in their positions for numbers of years versus Mike McDonald being his rookie year as a head coach. We come off that loss, but we have a bye week in week 10. And then we go to San Francisco in week 11 on the road. And I'm not going to say we sweep the 49ers. They're just still too good, even with, Brock Purdy throwing the ball. Overall, that roster's so good. And it's their home turf, so we'll give them this one. And then that brings us to week 12 against the Arizona Cardinals. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know if Kyler Murray is really going to be the guy that gets it to him and gets his team over the hump. They also had a decent draft, so maybe this team improves, but I still have a lot of questions about this team. And again, it's a home game for us. I say we beat the Cardinals. That gets us up to 7 wins, 7 and we had that bye week in there, so We're 7 and we got 7 wins. Then we go on the road to the New York Jets. They got Aaron Rodgers back. He's playing. Doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I just don't think that team, that roster's that good. That's another team that I'm not sure why when they went to get Aaron Rodgers, I don't know why they thought they were just a quarterback away. Obviously they lost a quarterback, so we don't really know if it was true or not. But I see it to a similar case as Denver when they wanted Russell. I looked at that roster and said, that's not just a team that's just a quarterback away. I look at the Jets. I don't see that being like a team that's just a quarterback away. I don't think they're going to. I still don't think they're going to be that great. So we go ahead and we beat the Jets, and then we go on the road. We go on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. Again, another team that maybe they give us some fits. So I'll give them the road game. Okay, I'm not going to say that we're gonna sweep the division rival, but at this point we still are up to 8 wins. Now on prime time game again, Sunday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers at home. Okay, we're at home, Sunday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers, and I'll tell you what, I absolutely believe we can beat this team with our defense, with our scheme. You know, Jordan Love, they started out being like, oh man, this guy's horrible. Then, you know, midway through the season when he started playing good, they're like, oh great, look how awesome we are. We went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, talking like he's going to be the next Hall of Famer. I like Jordan Love, but I don't know that yet. And I don't know if he's shown that he can handle a defense like Mike McDonald's defense yet. So I say we beat the Green Bay Packers at home in a primetime game. Now we are up to 9 wins. All right. There we go. Now, again, this is December 22nd. That's my birthday. Against the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to have, most likely, the rookie, J.J. McCarthy, playing this game. And Mike McDonald, he knows what he's all about. He was close to that program. He's, defensive genius. He knows how to stop my JJ McCarthy, so he's gonna get it done, and we get the win at home on my birthday. That's the birthday present to me. Now we're up to 10 wins. Then the day after Christmas, on Thursday Night Football, we are going up against the Chicago Bears. And against the Chicago Bears, they got Caleb Williams, who I imagine is just going to be lighting the NFL up this year. Maybe this is the first year, in the rookie year, the Chicago Bears will get their first quarterback that throws for 4,000 yards in his season ever. And it'll be in the guy's rookie year. And this one, I say we lose this one. It's a tough one. We're on the road. It's prime time, I know, but we're on the road. It's a team that has a lot of this team. They needed good quarterback play, and they could have had a much better record, right? They ended up with 7 wins anyways, and that was with Justin Fields at the quarterback. You tell me you're going to get a good quarterback in there? I think they're going to be much improved. I'll say Caleb Williams. Maybe he's just that. Maybe he ends up being that dynamic and ends up being what everybody thought he could be. And they edge one out against us, so we lose that one. Then we're on the road for the final game of the regular season against the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm going to say they beat us again. I said we split with the 49ers. I said we split with the Cardinals. But the Rams, I don't know. There's something about that team, something about their draft. Even though they're losing Aaron Donald, I think they did a good job. I mean, they got the coach too. I know they'll say Mike McDonald, he's the Sean McVay of defense, but we'll say the real Sean McVay gets the better of them in the regular season in year one. Mike McDonald's only going to get better at time, and maybe he will start beating Sean McVay teams. But in year one, we'll give the edge to Sean McVay. So that puts us at 10-7 for a regular season, and that's good enough for the playoffs. That's good enough for a wild card spot. I mean, at the very least, with 17 games now, and all the teams making the playoffs. I mean, 10 wins at one point. Sometimes you would say that would get you a higher seed, but with 17 games now, I'll say that 10 games at least gets you a wild card spot, and we get back into the playoffs. I really like the way this schedule plays out for us. Again, going up against a lot of rookie quarterbacks and doing it early as well, either rookie or lesser quarterbacks, right? The fact that we have a good balance of home versus away games. Like, we never have like a big stretch of like, oh, we have like 3 away games in a row. We never have a stretch where we have like 3 home games in a row. So it's very well balanced throughout the season, and I think that is going to be beneficial for the Seahawks as well. I mean, our bye week is in week 10 again. To me, you like having the bye week, in that mid to later portion of the regular season. So if there's been guys that have been banged up in the first half of the season, they can have that extra week to get healed up and be ready for the second half. I think it's a very, very nice schedule for Mike McDonald first year as head coach. I think it's going to help him see success early, which will hopefully help his confidence in his decision making, and that's only going to help him. It's going to help him figure out the decision making that he's going to go through when he goes up against some of these tougher teams later and in the middle portion of this season. So yeah, I think that's actually, that's a very realistic outcome for this team. Again, this is a way too early prediction. This is not actually my final prediction, what I'm saying is going to happen. But just looking right now as the rosters stand, without knowing, what these teams end up actually looking like based on practice or camp. We haven't had any of that yet. So we don't really know what any of these teams look like. But just based on what we know and what we expect and hope for, based on this favorable schedule, I think we could get 10 wins and actually improve. All right, so there you go. That's my prediction. A way too early prediction based on the schedule. Again, I'd love to hear more of your predictions. We got one from Aaron again, who was very enthusiastic, that gave that 18-0. But if we're talking just a regular season with 17 games that are played, I'd love to hear what you think the record, what you think is a realistic record that the Seahawks could end up with just based on the schedule alone. All right. Well, this is the end of this episode. So go ahead, please subscribe, comment, hit the like button, share it with your friends, podcast listeners, subscribe, follow, leave a 5-star rating and written review, share it with your friends. It all helps the show grow. And I appreciate you. Thanks for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with a sea of sound, you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.